Hey, how y'all doing? This is Hunt 919 True Sports coming to you with another segment. This one would deal with women's basketball. You all really don't know me yet. I'm still new to this, but I love women's basketball, especially on the college level. I like to talk about it. I like to attend their games, et cetera, et cetera. So, being that I thought this would be a good segment to talk about because being that Colorado is getting all this attention, which is unprecedented attention that we all know they're getting, I wanted to see if that would translate or transfer over to the women's basketball program because Shalamar's on the team. Now I know in normal cases, no, that's not going to happen. There won't be the same amount of people watching women's basketball as they do men's football. But because of the emergence of the work of well-off media, reach to people, and the pregame show, I thought it was a good topic to bring up and talk about. And I just have some questions, hopefully they get answered that I want to talk about. One of the questions I have is, will Dion Jr. be able to cover the women's basketball team like he has the men's football team? And what I mean by that, of course, he can cover it if he wants to. My question is, will he have the same behind the scenes access that he does with Coach Prime? My question is, will the coach even allow it? If it was me, I would definitely love it. Him doing that, I know, could help grow women's basketball, believe it or not, because of what's happening with the men's football team. So I'm wondering, will the head coach give him that type of access to her program? I wonder, does he even want to cover his sister in women's basketball? Is that one of his interests as far as behind the scenes is concerned? Is Shalamar even interested in being covered that much? Because I know she is a little shy as far as she doesn't really like her dad coming to her practices. I think it's a good situation. Will he cover it every day just like he does the men's football team if he does get access to the women's program like that? And again, I think it's just a great way to build women's basketball even more so than it always has, because there's always a push to get women's basketball more and more popular. And I just saw today on ESPN where women's basketball, at least on the pro level, has gone down some. It went up earlier this year, and then they're saying it's going down. I don't know how they determine all that, but it is what it is. And I'm also wondering that if well-off media cover it, or if they don't cover it, will reach the people in the pregame show do any of that? I don't think that they are aware of how much they could really help, not just the program of Colorado, but women's basketball as a whole. I just think it'll be great. It'll also be great for recruiting. But let me tell you a little bit about Shalamar. She played at Jackson State. Jackson State, I don't know if you all follow women's basketball at Jackson State like I did, but they had a very good program. That program is led by Tamika Reed. She's a very good coach. I'm suspecting or expecting for her to be, to be on a couple of other schools' list as far as coaching elsewhere maybe one day. Either mid-major or major, I think she could do it. She's an excellent coach. I've been following her for a while. They were 21-10 overall last year, 17-1 in their conference last year. Very good team, as I stated. They beat Texas Tech, which was a huge win for their program, of course, or any program really. But it was a huge win for HBCU to beat Texas Tech, and they actually showed it on ESPN a couple of times. They also made the first round in the NIT tournament. The year before, there was actually 23-7, and they made the first round of the NCAA tournament. So Shalamar was on that team. I think she only appeared in 2 games. She was a freshman, and she really didn't see the floor that much. But, it is what it is. So my point is, Jackson State is a very good program. She moved on, of course, as we all know, to Colorado's women's basketball. And I first had my introduction to Colorado's women's basketball last year. I was in North Carolina, and they came down to play Duke in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and I went to watch that game, and I came away very impressed with them. They actually beat Duke at Duke, which impressed me very much. And if I'm not mistaken, they were ranked last year. I can't confirm that, but I believe they was ranked. So Shalamar is also not just joining a very good program, but I think it's a top 25 program. I do know it's a program that's on the up and up. So let me tell you a little bit about them. They are led by J.R. Payne, Miss J.R. Payne, very good coach, obviously, brought their team up from where they were to where they are now, which is a very, very good program. You cannot sleep on them. That's why we need to pay attention to them. They went 25-9 last year. They made the NCAA tournament last year. As I said, they beat Duke at Duke. I was actually at that game. Again, I was very impressed with them. They actually played Jackson State last year, too, at Jackson State, which is a big deal when a program like a Power 5 program comes to an HBCU. You all probably don't pay attention because you're not into women's basketball, but that's a huge deal for something like that to happen. So they actually played Jackson State at Jackson State. I'm not sure if they played them again this year. I thought I saw them on the schedule, but when I looked at it again, I didn't see them up there yet. But normally when you play a program, let's say a bigger program comes to your place, then normally the contract has, we come to you once, you come to us twice. So I don't know if that's what's happening, but that's how it normally goes down in basketball. So that first thing I want to look at, the first thing when I first knew that she was going to Colorado, the first thing I look at when I used to help players go to others, to school or go to colleges, I pull up the roster, I look at the position that they're going to be playing at, and I try to determine certain things. So Colorado, they had, first of all, Shalamar's a guard. Okay, she's a guard. They have 11 guards already listed on their roster. To me, that spells or means that they're going to be a up-tempo team, up and down the court, from what it looks like just from the roster. So they're going to be very fast, and I think she's pretty fast. Now, she's a redshirt freshman, which means she's not a true freshman. She's a redshirt freshman, so she comes in with some experience. She has played college ball before at the Division I level, so nothing will really be a shock to her outside of, getting in shape, out there at University of Colorado and everything they deal with out there with the wind, altitude, and everything. So she's a guard. As I said, they have 11 guards on the roster. Their guards range from 5'6" up to 6'1". She's the shortest person on the team. So what does that tell me? For her to get playing time, she's gonna have to play great defense for one. She's gonna have to play great defense for one because of the amount of guards they have, and just to get onto a court. If you have an established team and they already have scorers on the team, one of the ways you can get playing time is defense. I had to do that myself to get on the court, which I did. I started, but for me to make sure I stayed on the court, because I came in with two established starters on my team. Both of the guys on my team, one is in the Hall of Fame at my school. The other one is going to be in the Hall of Fame at my school, and they're both in the top 5 in scoring. So that tells you what I walked into. And I came into the situation as a scorer from high school and from the junior college ranks. I was a scorer my whole career. So I kind of know what she's going into, but she's going to have to not just be a very good defensive player. She's going to have to be a knockdown shooter to get time because they already have everything that she possesses. They already have enough guards, the height. They already have people taller. They have people, like I said, she's the shortest one. So they already have people taller than her if height's a big thing. I think their center is only 6'3". So they're going to be up and down the court. So she's going to have to play defense, great defense, not good defense, not okay defense. They're going to want great defense from her. She's going to have to be a knockdown shooter for her to get playing time on that team. As I said, she has to be a great defender. So I'm kind of curious, being that she is a freshman, I would suspect or expect her to probably sit a lot this year because of that. Because they just have people in front of her, and that's how basketball is. But to her credit, she's had 2 years to get herself ready for this situation at Colorado. So not only her being on the team is an asset, she makes herself an asset as a player, but the attention she could bring to that team into the world of college basketball could be great, could be exceptional. And it's also going to allow them to recruit different areas of the country, and not just wherever they probably recruit on their side of the country now. But if they get this access, if Reach the Media and Well Off and all these guys get access, they could expand even over here to the East Coast. To be honest with you, we know how good videos or video travels, because you can see how a team is, you can see how the coach is to a certain level, you can see behind the scenes, you can see the weight room, you can see everything that they normally show you on the recruiting trip just from punching it in on YouTube and looking at it. So I'm wondering, would that happen? So not only Will that help with recruiting? It'll help with eyes watching the program. For instance, once I find out where they're playing at, I'm going to try to watch as many games as I can. The question is, will you all just think if half of us watched the women's basketball, either watched it or went to the games or whatever, how much of a success that would be, how big that would be to the women's program, how big that would be to those kids who are playing, and how big that would be to the University of Colorado. It's obviously a beautiful place. I learned that from, watching well-off media. And so I think that's something that can be helped. As a coach, I think the coach should look at it, like I just said, for exposure. If she allows well-off and reach the people in the pregame show to be a part of her program, and I say a part of it, I mean also let them travel with the team. I think it'd be great exposure for a program. It can expand their players' social media, which is a big deal, which also can create NIL deals, by the way. Put their social media names on the back of their jerseys, their practice jerseys, just like Coach Prime does. And I would even, if I was her, I would even talk to Coach Prime about some of the tricks that he's using. And I know I'm not far off base because Coach Prime said, I think it was last week on one of the videos, that he loves the head coach, the women's head coach. He allows her to use him for recruiting visits. He's already done that. So I think that'd be something great. You got Coach Prime, you got reach the media at your fingertips. You have the pregame show. And then you have Coach Prime. I mean, what better promoter do you need? Can you get than Coach Prime? So I think in the short term it'll be great. In the long term it could be even better because they could become a national powerhouse if all this works out the right way. Now I'm going to support the team. Once they release some gear, I will order some off of their site. If they come close like they did last year, I will go to a game. But if whatever they're playing on TV, whatever channel I find out they're playing, I'm going to watch it. I can promise you that. So that was a quick segment. I know I held you a little long, but this is women's basketball. And my question is, will Shalamar get the same or even close to the same attention as far as well-off, reach the people, and the pregame show, and from us, the fans, because we are a lot of bandwagon fans right now as far as Colorado's concerned, not towards Coach Prime, but towards Colorado. So why not be bandwagon for the girls? Check them out, see what they all about. They on the up and up, like I told you. I've seen them in person, and also last year just watching their record, and saw them a couple of times, on ESPN. They are a good team, and they're solid, very solid team. So with Shalamar going over there, will we bring some of this support from football over to the women's basketball, and they'll help them come up too. Everybody else, all these YouTube channels and all these media outlets and everything have come up off of the Coach Prime era. Why can't the women's basketball come up? Why can't Shalamar come up? So that's a question I have. This is coming from a true life, a real women's college basketball supporter, and just seeing how you all will take it. This has been Hunt 919 True Sports. Have a good one.